Hi, welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. I'm your host, Brian Koval. Before we get started, make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. If you want to see me play your favorite deck or your spicy brew on the channel, I take donation deck lists. I'll do a deck tech, play a full Magic Online League, and help tune your list. If that sounds good, check out my contact info. It's in the video description below. Now let's go play some Magic. Welcome back for another BoshNRoll video. Today I'm playing Legacy, and this is a donation deck from Patreon subscriber Snarf, who has me playing Aluren. Aluren has a place that's near and dear in my heart. This was one of the first real decks I ever built. Like when I transitioned from being a kid who just owned some cards and put them in decks and played with my friends into like learning there was magazines and tournaments and an internet that I could just figure out what other people were doing who were smarter than me. Aluren was, I think, the second like real deck I ever put together, like went out and bought singles to assemble. So very happy to be able to play this deck. But wow, has it come a long way since those days. So Aluren, if you're not familiar with this card or this strategy, this is a 4-mana enchantment. Any player may cast creature spells with mana value 3 or less without paying their mana cost and as though they had flash. So you'll notice this whole deck is full of creatures that cost 3 or less. And what we're doing here is comboing off. So the combo to win the game is Ukima Stalking Shadow. When it enters the battlefield, it deals X damage to target player, and you gain X life, where X is its power. Its base power is 2. So it arrives, domes your opponent for 2, you gain 2. Then you play Cavern Harpy. When Cavern Harpy enters the battlefield, return a blue or black creature you control to its owner's hand. Ukima is both blue and black, that's lucky. And then you can pay 1 life to return Cavern Harpy to its owner's hand. So you play Ukima, drain for 2, you play Cavern Harpy, pick up Ukima, you spend 1 of the 2 life you just gained to pick up the Harpy, and then you just refire. Your opponent loses 2 life, and you gain 1 life per iteration of that until they lose the game. The way that you find these, Ukima's just a one-of. Cavern Harpy goes off with other cards in the deck too, namely Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath. So Uro comes into play. You gain 3 life, draw a card, you can put a land into play. In response to the sacrifice trigger, because Aluren lets you play things at instant speed, you flash in your Cavern Harpy, pick up the Uro. Then you spend 1 of the 3 life you just gained to pick up your Harpy, and then you can draw your whole deck with Uro, gaining 2 life for each iteration of that. If you're in a pinch, Risen Reef. When it enters the battlefield or another elemental, you look at the top card of your library. If it's a land, you can put it into play. If you don't put it into play, put it in your hand. Cavern Harpy can pick this up just the same. You don't gain life along the way. It's not infinite, but you can do this equal to your life total minus 1 times. So if you're at 20, you can draw 19 cards with Risen Reef, and maybe one of them is Uro, maybe one of them is Ukima, maybe one of them is Icefang Coatl or Baleful Strix, which draws another card without costing you any life. And that interaction works with Strix and Coatl as well. Like Cavern Harpy with any of these ETB draw a card creatures, you can draw almost your life total's worth of cards trying to find Uro or Ukima, and you can go off that way as well. So that's the combo. And the deck is basically just trying to shove the combo in. But unlike previous iterations of this deck, like the one I played back in the early 2000s, this deck can win without Aluren. You may notice there's only 3 copies of Aluren even in this deck, which is weird because normally when a deck is called a card name, the deck plays 4 of that card. But in this case, Uro can win a game by itself. As we know, we play Legacy. Baleful Strix, Icefang Coatl, these things can just slow down Delver to the point where you beat them with anything. And Risen Reef, that's a value engine even without Aluren. So there's an extremely fair game to be played here outside of the Aluren shell. So that's a really cool angle of this build of the deck that I haven't had before. Out of the sideboard, we just get some safety and some disruption. Veil of Summer is both. You can counter spells that are coming after you, or knock out tendrils, knock out discard spells, etc. Plague Engineer protects you from those pesky elves and death and taxes. Endurance, hot new card from Modern Horizons 2. This card is just great. It also happens to be a 3-mana creature. Surprise! So excited about that. And then we got the normal Carpet, Flusterstorm, Surgical Extraction kind of stuff. And we can bring in Leovold if we want to play an even fairer game. So that's the deck. Let's go combo people out with 3-mana creatures. We're on the draw for round number 1. We have this rock solid hand, just one of each basic, 2 Noble Hierarchs and an Uro. We're playing against Ozymandias96, who I believe is Matt Vuk in real life, who is famous for playing 4-color Loam, but in the leagues, I've never actually seen him play 4-color Loam. He's always on some bullshit, and he mulled a 5 here. So, oh, okay. Matt also invented the Chrome Mox Miracles deck that I played probably 3 or 4 weeks ago on the channel at this point, but it's called Bant Miracles. If you scroll through my videos, Abundant Harvest Bant Miracles, but it's a Chrome Mox Miracles list. And Chrome Mox pitching Brainstorm playing Polluted Delta, that's kind of a weird line for a deck other than Chrome Mox Miracles to be taking. I'm going to get my mana under me here. I hope they are some sort of fair deck, because my hand is extremely well suited against fair decks. If he just pivots into Dark Ritual here, we're dead. Well, we were saying. So I guess this could be the Epic Storm. Alright, that's what it's looking like here. And Wishclaw Talisman does a lot of work to fix a mulligan to 5. So I'm going to ponder off of my Noble Hierarch, hoping to find Abrupt Decay for the Talisman. And then I can ponder again, looking for Force of Will if I need to. Aluren, Bird, Misty, that's a shuffle. Shuffle it up. Found Risen Reef. So I'm going to ponder looking for Force of Will now. That's also a shuffle. Didn't find the Force of Will, so I'm going to play my other Hierarch and hope we're not dead. So, did shuffle the Brainstorm. Alright, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so can cast Ad Nauseam here from 19 life with the land drop still available. It's not looking good, fam. We're just going to sit still and watch this happen, I guess. Oh, that's awkward. I think that he forgot to hold priority and sack the LED. Unless he's casting Echo of Eons here, there should be an Ad Nauseam being able to cast. I think it's bad form to ask, was that a misclick? Because if it wasn't, then I'm just fishing for information. I don't know. I'll just hold my horses here. I can just wish for Aluren and kill him, I guess. Let's do that. So, wish for Aluren. I don't necessarily have the win, but I do get to draw 3 cards and see what happens. And I'm gonna play like, yeah, I'm just gonna play it like this. Like, if that was a misclick, I feel like I'm on borrowed time anyway, and I can put the shields down, so I can play a little more aggressively. Just aggressively sporting. All right, let's go, Uro. I guess I should be leaving lands in my hand with Reef, because they're better if they come into play off Uro untapped. All right, Uro, got to find a Harpy or a second Reef right now. Let's go. Oh, I found a Reef. Okay. The game continues. Oh, shit. I needed to respond to that Uro. I might have blew it. Alright, still getting used to how this works. Because I could have responded... Alright, now we win. But I would have had it deterministic instead of just, like, probably, if I had responded to the Uro sack trigger with the Risen Reef. Just forgot that my creatures are instants for a second there. Alright, so pick up a blue creature. Risen Reef. Each of these draws 2 cards, and I can do that 26 times, so I can't actually see my whole deck. 25 times, I mean. Not putting it into play, because there are still Uros in the deck. Okay. Now we're doing it. Pick up Harpy. Refire Harpy. Pick up Reef. Alright, gave up. I'm pretty sure that was a misclick. I can't imagine what he would get and pass the turn when could have gone for the Ad Nauseam there, but sorry, fella. Tough times. Alright, Leovold.
is the hateful kind of monster I'm interested in against the Epic Storm. Veil of Summer does almost nothing against Epic Storm. That's kind of their thing. They are a Veil of Summer deck. I guess it could be... No, I don't think Ad Nauseam Tendrils plays Chrome Mox, but Epic Storm does. So I'm going to play like their TES and not like their Ant. If they're Ant, I want my Veils. If they're TES, I don't. So I'm gonna play around this way. Endurance. The Epic Storm isn't super interested in Past in Flames. They are interested in Echo of Eons, though. They don't really want to make goblins either, so I don't think I need Plague Engineer. But Force of Vigor can deny them a bunch of mana. Leovold makes it hard to draw cards. So I do like the decays for defense grids and Witchclaw Talismans. What is not as good here? I mostly just like the whole main deck. Tough time to be a wizard here. So the Risen Reef is good. Need every Harpy. Okay, Abrupt Decay might be a little worse. I'm bringing in Force of Vigor, which picks up a lot of that slack. I don't think I need all these mana dorks. At least not compared to the sideboard cards. Like, if I could just stay alive a little longer and jam Aluren, that's a big deal. Though the double Noble Hierarch did facilitate a turn 3 win there. I will acknowledge that. And I think Baleful Strix is just the worst. It sucks to cut a creature that cantrips for your Aluren turns, but it's fine. That one doesn't pitch to Force of Vigor, and Icefang Coatl does. Also, having Flash against the combo deck is kind of important. Alright, so how fast do I think he's going to go for it? I have my Aluren. I have some redraws. This is a mulligan, though. Okay, I can keep this one on the strength of Abrupt Decay, at the very least. And I'm going to get rid of this Forest. They're not going to mess with my mana at all, so I don't need to worry about basic lands. Polluted Delta has been cracked. We got a Thoughtseize. Okay. You going after Ponder or Decay? It will depend on if Wishclaw Talisman is an important part of the plan or not. Though it is nice that I have 2 Ponders, so I get to ponder and change the information, even if they do take one of the Ponders. So a lot of the times the plan with a Storm deck is take the cantrip and then navigate around the things that are left. The cantrips change the information so much that you lose information. Ahaha. Magic Online with the layup. And another Harpy, Leo. I'm going to shuffle this. Yeah. So I hate shuffling because it's a sign of weakness. It means I didn't find Force of Will. But when you shuffle and then find Force of Will, it's the fake weakness. So we undid the Thoughtseize with this Abrupt Decay and then found Force of Will. Alright, I can decay that. I'm just cracking off the Decay right now because I have the Force. Get out of here. Underground Sea Volcanic Island. I feel like the Epic Storm might have fetched Taiga. Uh-oh. But they found another Thoughtseizes for my other Force. This is not the Epic Storm. This is too many Thoughtseizes. That deck plays 0 or 1, and they usually leave it in the sideboard to wish for, so I think this is Ad Nauseam Tendrils. They just have Wishclaw Talisman in their deck. Alright, seeing all these Thoughtseizes, my Veils are coming in for the next round. Or the next game if there is one. Risen Reef. So I can Ponder or Uro. I think Ponder's the play. Force of Will. Don't mind if I do. So Force of Will in the hand. Force of Vigor under it. Kept that Ponder. I'm sure that's not what they wanted to see. There's Wishclaw Talisman. So they can do this on their turn. It's not as a sorcery, it's during your turn. So I have to force this if I don't want it to be in play. I wonder if Reef is actually better than Uro. So I'm going to Uro here. Yeah, I think maybe having Reef in play is better than playing the Uro. Because it's a 1/1 that can beat down, and if I draw a second Reef, it draws double the cards. Yeah, that's interesting. I just defaulted to pitch the card that isn't Uro, because Uro's great. But that might not be true. And we could easily lose here. They have 5 cards in hand. We did our dance, and we did not dance far enough. They had 3 pieces of disruption, plus a musk counter, and now they have 5 cards in hand, and my shields are way down. Yikes. That's a whole lot of mana. Oh, making a red. Okay, maybe this is the Epic Storm. Weird. Lots of weird stuff going on here. Oh, wow. Main deck empty. So, I have to combo them out now. I have no other way to win the game from here. So, a fetch land casts Uro, which actually does a lot of work. Or not even necessarily a fetch land, but a land. Alright, so I'm gonna ponder. Try to find a blue source to cast Risen Reef with. Okay. Don't shuffle. Play this. Play this. Here's Risen Reef. Force of Vigor's in my hand. I'm gonna take 9 this turn. Uro is an Elder Giant, so keeping Risen Reef around. If I trade off with 1... Alright, yeah, Uro's coming back into play. I'm gonna just soak up as much damage as I can. Wherever I can. So I take 9 to 13. I bring back Uro to 16. And then they attack for 8. I go to 8. I attack to 11. Alright, yeah, I'm getting several extra turns out of this. I wonder if I am supposed to crack off these forces on the carpet. Because they could just, like, cast ad nauseum here. Wow, ouch. Burning Wish is a good one. But if they get something that they would need carpet to cast, then I can Force of Vigor. They could have cast Burning Wish anyway. They're probably just going to get, like, whatever the unsummon is that they play, like Void Snare, I think. Unless they have a some sort of graveyard bomb that hits Uro, but I don't think they normally play something like that. Oh yeah, just Wishing for Ponder, you got it. So that means they boarded out a Ponder, which isn't that weird. That is something that the Epic Storm does sometimes. They did not shuffle their Ponder. Alright, here we go. Blue, blue, green, green. You love to see it. Exiling. Just 5 spells. Pretty sure there's no way to revive from my graveyard in the deck, but I'm going to play like there is. Cool. I can brainstorm if I want. I'm going to wipe out this carpet and the Mox in their upkeep before they get any mana. Get those out of here. Hopefully they kept that Ponder based on thinking they were going to have 4 or 5 mana, and now they have 2. And I'm going to go to 8 from this attack. I'm going to swing back, go to 11. Bummer. I mean, I was probably going to lose to that if they had the carpet mana, so it's not like I missed the chance to kill that specifically. Alright, I'm at 8. I have Brainstorm and an Uro attack to string something together here. I think I want to Uro attack first. That sees an extra card before my Brainstorm has to do anything. Go to 11. Love a Force of Will. I didn't play Hierarch for the extra damage on the Exalted attack because I think I'm going to want to shuffle it away with Brainstorm. We're just like past the point where that's super important in this game. I'm going to Brainstorm. Ooh, Leovold. So I could tuck the Force of Will, jam Leo, and Hierarch. Or just put back the lands, jam Leo, Hierarch, and hold Force of Will. Their hand would have to be pretty good for this Talisman to win out of nowhere through a Leovold. Alright, so blue, green, wait. Let's fetch first to make sure that my deck can produce the necessary colors, though I'm sure it can. So, green, black, blue, okay. Noble Hierarch, get in. Then blue, black, green. Here's Leovold. Okay, so they can't draw extra cards. They don't have lethal on board. If they target me with anything, I draw cards, which could find a blue card for Force of Will. I am gonna just lose the Hierarch to absorb damage here, because going to 2 versus going to 3, that's like just face up tendrils, no storm. I'm not interested in losing to that. Uh-oh, they're doing it. They're doing something. If their hand is Dark Ritual and they just wished for tendrils or vice versa, shit, here it is. Alright, so I get to draw a card, but Storm is 3, which is enough to beat a Force anyway. Yes. I draw 2 more cards here. Oh, Hierarch, you betrayed me. Okay, I'm dead. So they are extremely discard and tendrils heavy deck. They had empty and tendrils in the main. So this isn't like a clean epic storm, but it's also not ad nauseum tendrils. Like this is some sort of stormy hybrid, which is fine. Cool. Now let's figure out how to beat it. I think the Noble Hierarchs are officially out. Just gonna have to slow it down and play to not die, and then pivot onto Aluren when the coast is clear. So Plague Engineer beats the Goblin line. I'm not sure if I want a Surgical Extraction or an Endurance, or either or both. They might have a Past in Flames in their deck, in which case I really want these cards. So I think I want the Endurances and not the Surgical Extractions. So what does this deck look like now that I'm cutting all of my cards? Gotta cut 4 cards from this deck, jeez. Do I cut an Aluren? Is that possibly right? So is there a way to guarantee a win if I board out Ukima? And I don't think there is. Like, I'm trying to think of, is there a way to like gain infinite life? But I can't do that because all of my life gain comes with card draw. So I can't, like, infinite life doesn't happen, but lots of life could happen. Risen Reef might be a little expensive, but it does pitch to all of my pitchable things. Gotta cut 2 more cards here. Maybe Leovold is not where I want to be. Just being kind of slow and chunky. And if I'm down to 2 Allurens, maybe I go to 2 Harpies as well. This deck is kind of a mess right now, but I think it has enough to still win. And enough to protect itself. So I'm gonna just sort of splitting the difference between a fair deck and an unfair deck here. All right, I have a Force of Will and a Plague Engineer, and some things I can do at instant speed. Wish it included Veil of Summer, but someday I'll find one. Misty Rainforest and pass. I think maybe leading on basic Forest pass would deter a Thoughtseize. Alright, they didn't have one anyway. Alright, found the Veil. Now I'm not even bluffing. The best thing is when your bluff isn't a bluff, also known as having it. Ooh, they're building up that perfect 7. I'm gonna flash in a Coatl here. I think off an Underground Sea, that gets all my colors. Coatl, Hiss. So every attack with a Coatl, even though it seems kind of anemic, does reduce ad nauseum's potency. I'm saving this fetch land in case I find a Brainstorm. That's why I played Tropical Island instead of Misty. I can still Coatl and Veil. Defense Grid. Right, I have the Abrupt Decay for that. Do I think they can go off right now is the follow-up question. Alright, blue, green. Alright, so I drew a Brainstorm. I'm gonna let them have grid and hope they can't combo me out right now. Nice. Looks like we're untapping. We're going to get to use the Abrupt Decay. There's a reason those cards are still in my deck. Then green, black. You're out. And the beats continue. 3rd Coatl showing up. This clock is becoming pretty real. And I still have Force plus Veil. And Plague Engineer. Like, have a lot of things covered here. I'm going to let them have Burning Wish. Because I do want to deploy another Coatl and get clocking. If they wish for Thoughtseize, I have the Veil. I wish for Echo. Not super worried about that because my board is really powerful. So I think I want to get Bayou on this one to spread the love, or do I just get a second C? I have cards that cost double green. Lots of cards that cost double green. Nothing that costs double black. I think I still want Bayou though. So maybe I wanted the C to maintain blue density if I need to string a bunch of cantrips together. Oh, that's nice. Another Brainstorm. I'm gonna Brainstorm off the Underground Sea. Wait, why would I do that? My hand's already perfect. Alright, I'm just gonna attack. So attack with all my things. Actually, what I'm gonna do here is play Plague Engineer on Goblin. That adds to the clock. I can still Veil. I can still Force. And now I'm not gonna get gobbled. Now they're on a 3-turn clock instead of a 5-turn clock. It's a lot better for me. There's the Lion's Eye Diamond. That goes nicely with their Echo of Eons. Mox Opal, sure. So this is the move. They're making it. I will probably... Oh, I'll just Veil right now. I was going to say I'm going to Veil in response to Echo of Eons, but I'll just Veil now. Fuck it. Save that Plague Engineer. I was going to do it anyway. So now it's going to be pretty hard for them to win this turn. They can't target me with Tendrils. They can target me with Grape Shot. Oh, I'm just going to force the Echo. Duh. They have to... I was thinking I was playing around Veil, but they have to discard their hand when they go for the LED, obviously. So I'll just wipe them out. They were, in fact, building up a big empty hand. Check that out. Little proactive Plague Engineer. Hero of the day. The hero we needed. So they have nothing in their hand. Let's just cast a Risen Reef because I love that card. I like games where that card's in play. I'm not going to throw that into play because I still have my land drop for the turn and I can cast Coatl. Or I can Veil Brainstorm. I'm not sure what one card they could draw that saves them here though. How about Veil of Summer, folks? That's a good card. Alright, the game is over. Undefeated with Aluren. On to round number 2. On the play, in the second round, I've kept this hand that has Ponder and some spells in it. This one's pretty, slow, but the deck allows me to play like that in a lot of cases. Just like the build of this deck is really nice. We found Risen Reef and Aluren right away. So I can pitch to Force if I need to. I have Abrupt Decay if I need to kill something. And if I just get to develop, then Risen Reef's gonna go bananas. It looks like we're playing against Death and Taxes. Or it's just a control player who started on Plains instead of Island. But they've chosen the really nice Plains, so my guess is Death and Taxes. Okay, so they have the port. We're drawing a fetch land this turn. I'm gonna leave up Abrupt Decay. Because if they take any time off of porting me to decay me here, or to cast a spell, I'll just kill it. And then I'll get Risen Reef anyway. I guess it depends on my draw step. If I find a Harpy, ooh, Uro, I'm definitely playing Uro. We'll see if they want to plow Uro in response to the front half. That would actually be kind of great for me. Because right now I don't look like a combo deck at all. I just look like some fair bug deck. Yeah, there's the plow. Don't care. 2 for 1, baby. Found a fetch land. Alright, so I'm working through that plow is important. I would like to deploy this Aluren and win the game sooner than later. Phyrexian Revoker, you got it. What do you even name? If you name Cavern Harpy, I'm gonna be really impressed. Face the Mind Sculptor. Yeah, that's a more reasonable thing to name in the blind. I'll take you out, Cavern Harpy. You got me. Alright, so this would be a good time to draw Cavern Harpy. The big danger of playing Aluren is that the Death and Taxes creatures are also 3-drops for the most part. So I'm just going to jam Risen Reef, see where this goes. Alright, this comes into my hand. I'm going to play the C because I want to make sure I have double green around at all times, and I don't want to expose my Bayou to land destruction yet. So this Risen Reef should give them a hint that they don't have forever. Like, they don't get to just port me forever. They're going to have to win this game. Umezawa's Jitte. Powerful stuff. It's going to be a shame when I Abrupt Decay this Phyrexian Revoker. Yep, here we go. Get the Tropical Island. Light up the Revoker. Green, black. You're out of here. And Risen Reef. So, small element of danger with them being able to flash in creatures, but so can I. I think I'm going to do better than them. That's the gambit, right? Here comes Aluren. I'm going to Reef. But I do have Force of Will still. I can fight over one of their creatures. The Brainstorm. There's a Verdant Catacombs that I'm not going to put into play because of Uro being in the deck. Coatl's going to draw me a card. Brainstorm. Alright, Brainstorm's going to have to find some gas here. Wow, what a beating. Okay, I mean, froze it up. We might lose to Umezawa's Jitte right now. Flashing in Recruiter of the Guard. I'm going to have to force this and just hope they don't have any other creatures, but it seems pretty unlikely. Yeah, flashing in Flicker Wisp in response. Okay. Alright, so they're going to get to wipe my board, but they don't get anything either. Wow, that was bad. So I'm going to block with Coatl, and then they're going to kill all my reefs with the Jitte triggers. And we're back to 0, and I'm drawing lands. Aluren's back, though, but that helps them more than it helps me. Probably. And I'm gonna just pass. I can't afford to attack into an ambush. If they have any creatures, I'm also in trouble. Okay, they didn't flash in any creatures. I'll take that. Big win. So what 4 cards would be in the hand of a Death and Taxes player that are not creatures? It's got to be lands, equipment, or Swords to Plowshares, basically. Shit. Alright, we're in trouble. That was one of their best draws. They could just string any number of these together if they want. Oh, that's also really good. The Skyclave Apparition. Yeah, we missed our chance to win this game. We had the combo and just couldn't close. Drawing 3 cards in a turn, or plus Brainstorm and Coatl. We saw what, 7 cards that turn? Didn't get there. Alright, deck, help me out. Looking for probably Uro is like my most exciting card. I'll take Abrupt Decay though. Let's at least clear that Jitte. Or do I hit the Apparition and then just block Recruiter with my 4/4? Ooh, I kind of like that. Alright, this might be greedy, but I'm doing it. Alright, so they can't Flicker Wisp me right now. Oh, right. The Swords of Plowshares that I identified that they had 2 turns ago. Okay, yeah. Probably wanted to get that Jitte under control. Yeah, because Jitte can break up this creature-based combo pretty easily, and most of my fair plans. Don't want that. I'm keeping all these cards in my hand to maximize Brainstorm. Their Vial is on 3. Because I can still draw the other Abrupt Decay. The last Abrupt Decay, clear the Jitte. Yeah, I've had 2 opportunities to fight this Jitte, and I just didn't do it. This one's going to name Cavern Harpy. Now they know what's going on. Yep, Cavern Harpy. You can't fool a Legacy player. Alright, deck. How about a Brainstorm? Help me out here. Risen Reef. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to not play this. So, here comes Risen Reef. It's going to die immediately, but I'm going to get my draw step out of it. Or my draw. Okay, I'll take a ponder. Let's keep it going. I know I don't deserve a deck, but please help me out with the last Abrupt Decay. They have Caracas over there, so this Uro's not going to be super exciting. But it's not nothing either. It is going to draw me a few cards, and they have to respect it. So I think I want another basic forest. Then I want to leave up black mana. So in case I draw the Abrupt Decay, I can cast it. Here comes Uro. It's party time. Okay, there's Aluren. There will be game played here today. So now they're in kind of a pinch of this Uro's going to gain a lot of life and draw a lot of cards, and I'm at a super high life total, but they want to keep counters on Jitte to control my creature combo, so they're going to have to navigate some amount of putting extra power on their creatures to get the game over with, and also keeping counters on Jitte to make sure they don't just die. Alright, porting me in my upkeep again is fine. Blue, blue, green, green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards gone. I'm not going to put this land into play because I want to get rid of it with a brainstorm. Alright, so that's an extra 9 life. I'll take it. Not going to put that in. I am going to cast the Baleful Strix. That pressures the Jitte counters and also keeps me drawing cards. There's my Harpy. So I need to... there's a lot that has to go right here. Between the Revoker on Harpy and the Jitte bearing down, got some trouble coming. Maybe I should have kept the second Uro off that Ponder earlier, because I identified that they probably have Swords to Plowshares in their hand. And equipment. That's the other thing I said was in their hand several turns ago. Brainstorm! Alright, Icefang Coatl. I'll take it. And I'm just hard casting these things. I'm not going to drop the Aluren in where they could use it. Especially since my Harpy is off right now. Ponder. Let's keep going. Brainstorm, yes. Don't shuffle. Let's fire this in. I'm going to get rid of this, these Noble Hierarchs. Or Hierarch and Bird. Whatever these creatures are. I think there are enough lands in the deck to Uro and refire Uro all at once. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, yes. Okay. So as long as I fetch the correct lands, I get Underground Sea and Forest, and we're just gonna Uro, re-Uro all at once. Blue, blue, green, green is still available. They have the Caracas. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. That buys me a lot of time. Blue, blue, green, green. Here's Uro. Another trigger. Okay, so I will Force of Will a Swords to Plowshares probably, because this Uro is pretty important. Like, Uro plus Harpy is my deck if I draw the Decay. Solitude. Exile up to one other target creature. Okay, so that gets the Force of Will. And I am going to pitch Harpy on it. Not interested in playing against that one. And they tap their Caracas to do that also. In blocking Batterskull, they get to finish off Uro with the Jitte, but that's fine because it's just as good in the graveyard. They also now have 6 counters on Jitte. Alright, they're going to have to lose 2 of them. Back down to 4, a reasonable number. So I'm running out of cards in my deck, which is actually pretty exciting because the Abrupt Decay is in there somewhere. I play 3 of them. Blue, blue, green, green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's Uro back. I'm doing this before I brainstorm, so I have more cards to put back. Alright, there's the Decay. Now I need to find one of my other 3 Harpies. Or other 2 Harpies. Put back Hierarch and one of the Alurens. There is one basic left in my deck. Alright, so Verdant Catacombs. Alright, I'm looking at my deck right now. Let's find the line. There's 2 Harpies. The win condition's still there. Alright, no more lands to fetch. So, time to ponder. Found Coatl, Risen Reef, Bird. That's a shuffle. Found Brainstorm. If I Brainstorm, I don't think that matters. Alright, I'm just going to pass for now. If they want to bounce Uro with Karakas, that's a great deal. Maybe. I don't think I can win the game without comboing at this point. I have 14 cards left in my deck. Oh, that's not Karakas, that's Flagstones. Jesus. I've been playing this whole game like they have Karakas and they just don't. If you've been screaming at your monitor for the last like 9 minutes, that's what I was doing. So they can equip the Batterskull. I don't think I care about that. That's not the fight that I'm here to fight. So, do I want Jitte to have 6 counters on it? I guess it will have 5 counters on it even if it doesn't have the 6. So, yeah, I think this is fine. I'll just take it. And I'm going to Abrupt Decay, Phyrexian Revoker at the end of the turn, then untap and try to win. So, Decay Revoker. Green, black, you're out of here. Please don't have Flicker Wisp. But even if they do, it'll come back at the end of my turn. Come on, Harpy. Harpy. Alright, that's a Coatl. They have 1 card over there. Alright. Here we go. It's Aluren time. So, Baleful Strix, get in. Draw my card. I'm going to do this one at a time. Ace Fang Coatl, get in. Draw my card. Alright, now they can't -5 on Uro anymore. I want these card draw triggers to resolve, because they can't remove Uro. Yeah, money. Alright, now we win. GG. Yeah, that's fine. Can't kill Uro. That's the one that matters. So pick up Uro. Cast Uro with Aluren. And that's the ball game, kids. Draw the card. Put it in. Guess there was no reason to put it in. And cast with Aluren. I'll find the cat eventually, and then we can go off. I mean, we're already going off, but let me make sure I do this correctly. I'm sure there's a way to misclick this. I'm not going to put that in because there's nothing left to fetch, and I'm holding Brainstorm. So I'm going to need the second Harpy before I move in on the cat. I think that's how I make sure I don't lose this. Or I could misclick, or I could run out of time. All of those are ways I could lose this. Oh. Alright, I have the second Harpy. Now I just need to find the cat, and I win. I'm not sure if I needed the second Harpy, and I'm too focused on clicking to worry about it right now. But I have the second one, so it's going to be good enough. Okay, I've drawn the cat. Now it's time to win. I'm going to pick up Harpy. So now I can cat them with 2 Harpies in hand. And they have 3 Jitte triggers. They wasted the early ones. They might have been able to win this fight if they left the 5 counters on. Like, if they take a counter off, go to 4, take a counter off, go to 3, I flash in Harpy to bounce this. They take 2 off, flash in the second Harpy, they take the other 2 off. Yeah, they actually win this if they leave 5 counters, but 3 isn't enough. Whew, that was a tight game. I'll respect Jitte a little more this time. Alright, Force of Vigor I like a lot, and Plague Engineer I like a lot. Leovold I probably like a lot. They target me a lot with the swords and the Rishadan ports and the Jittes and all of that. Even Karakas, give me those cards. Abrupt Decay is phenomenal. I like the fast mana that the mana creatures provide. Sorry if you just heard like a donk on the microphone. I reached for my cup and hit the mic with my cup. So You just heard the sound of my cup donking. All right. Enjoy that. So I don't think I want all 4 Force of Wills in this matchup. Abrupt Decay is among the best. Baleful Strix is fine, but I think it's among the worst cards, especially we're talking about bringing in these super potent sideboard options. I like these things that draw cards. We've seen Phyrexian Revoker, which isn't in every list anymore, but it's extremely good at stopping our combo. Maybe I go down to 2 forces and shave a Noble Hierarch. Does that make sense? I think so. Yeah, I'm in for this. This is my deck. I got solid mana and lots of card selection. This is a keep. I have 11.5 minutes on the clock. That's plenty of time. I just need to not get bogged down into another stupid Umezawa's Jitte game where I have to respect everything all of the time. Alright, there's Mom. That's going to be tough, but it's okay because we boarded in the Plague Engineer. Shot and Port, you got it. That doesn't line up well against fetch lands. And they can port it if they want. But, I mean, that is a pretty good play if I was trying to save it for a Brainstorm or something. But in this particular case, I don't care. Because I'm just going to Coatl anyway. My plan is Coatling here. Wasteland. It's a good time to be a deck with 7 basics in it. That's another thing I love about this deck. Just the fair bug option this deck has is just so juicy. So if they go after my island, yeah, I can do better on the Brainstorm. I'll just wait. I'm gonna play Prismatic Vista because I plan on fetching my Swamp next turn. Just taking my time here. Next turn, if they port my island again, I can Brainstorm, fetch, get the full value, and still cast the Engineer. Alright, what is this shit? Skyclave Apparition. I don't care about that. You can have my Coatl. It's already drawn a card. It did its job. And they're not going to port me this turn because they don't have port up, which suits me just fine because I get to Brainstorm and jam this Plague Engineer. Ooh, there's a Aluren for next turn also. Do I want the second Plague Engineer? I don't think I want the cat yet. Or, this is a whale wolf. Why am I calling it a cat? It is a whale wolf, folks. Yeah, not a cat. I feel like Borat. What kind of cat is this? Alright, I'm going to put back the second Plague Engineer. And just play the first one. I'll fetch Basic Swamp off of the Verdant Catacombs. And I'll get another Forest off of this. Because if they go super heads up and port my Forest next turn, that will keep me off double green for Aluren. Which is unacceptable to me. We're just gonna sweep this Mom out of here. So I can Aluren with Risen Reef with Force backup. If I find a Cavern Harpy, we get to party. I'm wondering if I should have kept the Plague Engineer, the second Plague Engineer, in case I need to name Horror. Like if they find a Revoker right now and name Cavern Harpy, then I'm gonna have to dig into the Abrupt Decay. Forgot what that card was called for a minute. So they're just trading 1/2/2 for another here. I already took out the human that I really care about, and this takes them off port for the turn. That's not a Cavern Harpy, but I do have a look to Ponder. Or I guess Brainstorm. No, Ponder is a better look here. But if I find a fetch land, Brainstorm's better. If I don't find a fetch land, Ponder's better. I'm going to Brainstorm. Swing for the fences. Try to really fix my hand up. Did I know that was there? This isn't the best. So I'm going to put back the wolf whale wolf, and Bayou? No, and Trop. No, I can still Ponder this turn. Yeah, so I'm going to put back the Bayou and the whale wolf. I can still Ponder and get a shuffle here. This costs me my stable mana, but I can keep Bayou Ponder on the top. Yeah, the second Ponder's nice, and I get to play this Noble Hierarch. Get to attack for 3. So it's going to cost them their Flicker Wisp if they want to block this creature. In we go. Okay, so they took 3. And then I'm holding up Force of Will. But I also have Ponder, just firing off the Wasteland on the end of my turn for some reason. I hope you didn't draw a 4-drop you want to cast. They should attack for 5 here. There it is. The race is on. So they can port me, but I'm drawing Bayou. Okay, taking me off black. That's smart. That's the color I don't have more of. So I'm gonna Ponder. Looking for... none of that's great. I'm gonna shuffle. Can Ponder again. Risen Reef, Abrupt Decay. Okay, I like Abrupt Decay. And I like Risen Reef. Not gonna shuffle this. Here's my Bayou. Attack for 3. And I can kill whatever I need to with this Abrupt Decay. It feels good. And I can Reef into Reef, drawing 3 cards next turn. I'm gonna just take 5. There's no rush for me to answer these creatures. And if they play something second main that I'm more worried about, like a Revoker, I want to be able to deal with it. So I'm going to decay the Wisp. That's the flying creature. I'm mostly planning on winning the game right now, so I don't need to hold on to everything for a whole long time. Just ready to spew here. So here it comes. Chaos with Aluren. They do have 4 cards in hand. They could just respond with Aethersworn Canonist and sort of take me off. But right now my Force of Will is active. We're gonna spew 2 cards here. I can Brainstorm in response if I need to. Do I want to Brainstorm in response or just force this thing? I think I'm gonna Brainstorm. Might be greedy, but I'm doing it. Great, that was perfect. Alright, I can put back these 2 cards I wasn't going to do anyway. Flash in Leovold, so now even if this does resolve, I get to draw cards. They could bounce it with Caracas, but I get to draw cards from that too. Surgical Extraction targeting Abrupt Decay. Okay, that shuffles my deck for me. Didn't want those cards anyway. And now they see the Force in my hand. So here's Leo. Then Force, Skyclave Apparition. I go to 6. And bouncing Leovold with Caracas does nothing at all. It lets me draw a card, then I just flash it back in. So that's not a play. Mindbreak Trap. Wow, that's a play. Okay. Oh, why didn't they target my... Wait, what just happened? Using Mindbreak Trap, targeting an alternate cost. Did they just target nothing by accident? Yeah, that's awkward. Yeah, they said in the chat they just misclicked. So we were going to get a game where Skyclave Apparition targets Leovold. So the Mindbreak Trap knocks Risen Reef and Force of Will off of the stack. Skyclave Apparition comes in, targets Aluren. I draw 1 card in response, and the chain is over. But then I have Leovold in play against this Death and Taxes deck. I feel like I was still ahead on the fair game, but that is an unfortunate misclick. But count it. On to the next round. On the play, in round number 3, we're playing against Easy Money Marksman, who I don't know who that is in real life, but I know they are the Magic Online trophy leader right now. And that might mean they're playing something fast, like just Reanimator or Storm or some BS that lets them play a lot of matches really quickly. All right, a basic Mountain and a Chain Lightning. Okay, this could be Delver. Blue-Red Delver is also a pretty fast deck that ends games quickly. I'm going to Ponder here, looking for land drops. Found several of them. Okay, sweet. So I stacked that Ponder such that the Risen Reef will flip the Prismatic Vista into play. Assuming Reef resolves, of course. We're playing against Delver. Probably Dazes in this deck. I'm going to go on Uro instead of Risen Reef for that reason. Like, if Uro gets dazed, it hurts a lot less than Risen Reef, because Uro wasn't going to be a permanent on the battlefield anyway. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, that might just be some sort of flawed, like, little kid thinking, like, I want my creature. But the ETB trigger is actually what matters. And they do a similar thing, but Uro gains 3 life and Risen Reef doesn't. So maybe Risen Reef is actually the one I would prefer getting countered. I don't know, that's kind of a a weird spot, weird thought experiment. If you have thoughts about that, please let me know in the comments. Alright, a Ponder. Delver didn't flip, and they cast Ponder. So they drew a non-spell card this turn. I am more exposed to Wasteland in Daze than I ever want to be against Delver. Especially looking at this 4-mana enchantment in my hand. Also, Lightning Bolt and just burn spells interact pretty favorably with my combo. Pyroblast is really good against this version of Aluren as well. They didn't have a Wasteland. So if I draw a land and I can play around Daze, I'm going to jam Aluren. If, like, I'm fine putting them to the Force of Will test. Okay, cool. I'm going for it. They may or may not have prioritized Force of Will with their cantripping, because I could just be any bug deck basically right now. All right, so here comes Aluren, and I have Harpy and Reef, so I can draw probably like 17, not 17, because they have bolt 16 cards before I'm really upset about the result. All right, so Reef's in. Drew a Harpy. That's actually the literal nut, because if they bolt this Reef in response to this Harpy, I get to play the other one. Surprise! We're in there. I'm just gonna win with this Lightning Bolt on the stack. I guess that's actually just worse than letting it resolve, because having the second Harpy is another point of interaction and saves me a life here when this one comes in. Alright, so they're dead. Not gonna put it into play because Uro's in my deck. Gonna keep drawing cards. Pick up Harpy. I'm not sure if Reef or Coatl is actually the right one to go with. It's probably Coatl, actually, at least until I find another Reef. Yeah, it saves me a click to do it this way. I'm gonna avoid casting the cantrips from my hand for as long as possible, because if I play one of them, that turns on Daze on all of my spells. Like if their hand is double Daze, but I guess they would have double Dazed the Aluren, so they don't have double Daze. I guess I don't really need to worry about that. But I also just have 15 life to work with. Okay, I found Uro. Now we just win. Now it's deterministic. We'll see if they were holding out for... if they're just making me click, or if they were holding out for a deterministic win. It looks like they're just making me click, which is weird. You would think the trophy leader would want to play a little faster, get to that next league, because I'm about to break up this trophy. I will say I was getting a little nervous when I kept picking up those lands that I could have put in play with Coatl, but this Uro being able to put them all into play just pays me right out. Makes me feel really smart for doing that. It's definitely the right way to play this deck, by the way. Just pick up lands. Alright, I found the cat. The game is over. I called it a cat again. Great. The whale wolf. Found the whale wolf again. Now they've seen the win condition. Hopefully they can concede. Okay, they did not concede, so we're just gonna click through this. Oh, or leaves the battlefield. Cool. Didn't even read that part of the card. This whale wolf gets you real fast. Alright, a few painless minutes of clicking later, and there are lethal triggers on the stack. And that should do it. Oh, guess I missed one. Wait, what does this card actually do? Attacks life. Leaves the battlefield. Leaves the battlefield. Oh, okay, it only a leaves the battlefield trigger. Oh, I see what's happening. Wow. Wait, what was just happening? So, I've been targeting my opponent with this card's trigger. Oh, I think Moto might be confused. Like, its partner trigger is causing me to target my opponent. I thought it was when it enters or leaves. It's only when it leaves. Okay. So I was dealing half as much damage at the speed I thought I was. It's still deterministic, but that was weird. Alright, it's time to read this card really closely. When this creature enters the battlefield, target player may put Khazar into their hand from their library, then shuffle. Oh, okay. So it does have an ETB trigger. It's just a stupid one that doesn't matter. Gotcha. But the drain is when it leaves play, not when it enters. Got it. Okay. Understood. So I want Carpet of Flowers, Flusterstorm, probably Endurance, just to pivot onto the fair plan if I want to be fair. So I'm going to have to decide how far onto the fair plan I want to be versus just being a combo deck. I could also just like do this, which is I'm not an Aluren deck anymore. Just be fair bug deck, let's go. What does that look like? Because I don't hate that. I actually really like the fair bug matchup versus Delver in general. And I don't love resolving 4-mana sorceries against Delver in general. So this could be something here. I'm not convinced I want to be on 0 Force of Will, but the rest of this I don't hate. Do I need 3 Veils? Blue cards, they have that target or count, like they have their counter spells. Then of course they have like maybe Brazen Borrower, and there's no reason to leave in 1 Aluren because my combo, like I don't combo anymore. I'm just a deck. But I guess playing all my creatures at flash speed is still pretty cool. I think I'm gonna go 2 forces and just bug deck. Yeah, I actually like that a lot. That's a cool angle that I hadn't seen in the deck tech earlier, just looking at the list, but now that it's in front of me seems pretty clear. Let's just be a bug deck. Endurance gives this strategy a whole lot of beef too. Just being able to have this 3/4 that can actually win the game and interact in combat is really nice. So this is dangerous. I like the basic forest. I don't like that it doesn't do anything else, but I am on the draw. I have Noble Hierarch. Let's do it. They have an island and a Delver. Alright. Surprise. Here's my Noble Hierarch. If they're gonna interact with this, I prefer they daze it to bolt it, because bolting it is just so clean. And if they're blue-red Delver, they're gonna have bolts. Alright, Delver didn't flip. That's good. If I can get Noble Hierarch to my turn and cast this Ponder, I'll feel really good. But if they bolt it, there's gonna be a sweat in this draw step. Alright, there's Ponder. That doesn't mean it's not getting bolted. It just means that they have one less mana to operate with whatever they're gonna do. Uh-oh, red source. Dragon's Rage Channeler. Okay, good. It's just some shitty creature instead of a lightning bolt. That's good news for me. I think this is a Ponder, not a Brainstorm, because my hand is actually great. It just needs a bunch of lands in it. Okay, so this Abrupt Decay is one of my better cards, but getting my Coatls into play is also pretty nice. Also, just making sure to hit my land drops is even more important. So I think I'm just going to pass here. If I'm playing a Coatl, I'm going to do it on their turn. And it doesn't have Death Touch yet, so what's the rush? Alright, I think I'm going to have to just soak up some damage for a while. Force of Will is revealed. They have 4 cards left in their hand. Chain Lightning, targeting Noble Hierarch. So they get to surveil one. I'll let them do that first. So I can Flusterstorm this, but that doesn't really appeal to me that much. I'm gonna let this die. I'm drawing a card next turn, which will result in the 3rd basic for Death Touch on my creatures. I could flash in Coatl now, but I think the guaranteed land is just really good. Just look at this hand. I kept the deck based on being rock solid against Delver, or I made this configuration of the deck based on being solid against Delver. Right, I'm going to fetch in their upkeep in case they have Stifle. That pressures their mana in a way that I care about. So if I have to Flusterstorm them, then, like, if they aggressively Force of Will my Coatl, I'm not excited about flustering a Force of Will. But I guess it could be pretty cool to fluster a Force of Will and a Ponder, so I'm just going to jam in my Coatl right now. Alright, Coatl resolved. Good to draw a card. Ooh, Endurance. Will you endure? I hope not. Alright, so they milled a Wasteland with Surveil. That puts 3 card types in the graveyard. Lightning Bolt targeting my Coatl. They have not made their land drop yet. I think I do want to Flusterstorm this, which unfortunately does expose me to Wasteland. But I think this is a fight worth having. I just gotta hope that they can't get Delirious this turn. Or that they haven't been slow rolling a Wasteland. I guess I should have let Surveil resolve first so I know. Because if this becomes a 3-3, then this being dead doesn't matter. And now they know that if they can mill like an artifact or some shit, that it's worth doing. Okay, cool. Now I get an actual trade if they attack with their Channeler. Because I don't have Death Touch. Didn't have a basic to fetch with that. Oh, I can also turn off Delirium at will with Endurance. That's nice. Alright, I'm gonna just take my 3 here. Try to set up my basic lands for next turn. Oh, Carpet. Hell yeah. That's a really good card. I suspect this will be worth a Force of Will. So I want to Brainstorm first to see if I can protect it. Ooh, I cannot protect it, but these are both humans. So if I put back Prison Reef and Uro, I can go for the Carpet. If it doesn't work, I can still Coatl. This is going to get forced if they have force. Guaranteed. Yeah, this card's too good. Unbeatable. So they milled a land. They pitched Daze. So top of my deck right now is Uro, which is obviously a good card. I think I want to just fetch Coatl right now. If they have Daze, they have Daze. What do I need? A forest? Yeah, okay. This puts 2 Death Touch Coatls on the board for their 2 attackers, and they have 1 card in hand. Gotta hope it's not Daze. Of course it's Daze. Okay, that's fine. Alright, well, now they're Hellbent. I will not pay 1 for this. So they're Hellbent, and my board is pretty stable. Like, if they draw exactly Lightning Bolt, that could hurt. But in general, my hand's pretty good. Oh, Jesus. Alright, they drew exactly Lightning Bolt. I'm at 3. And now suddenly in a world of hurt where last turn I was miles ahead. That's okay, though. Oh, that doesn't turn on Delirium. No, never mind. We're fine. We're good. We got this. No sweat. So I don't think there's a counterspell they can draw that I care about. So I'm going to let them make their attack. We're going to endure. Like, I don't think there's any 1 mana card or single card that messes up what I'm doing here. Alright, so eat the Delver. Bolt can finish off Endurance, but being at 4, and then I'm going to cast this, name Human. Alright, humans are dead. Hey, baby, you want to kill all humans? I don't think I can attack with Endurance right now, because if they have Sprite Dragon, then I lose. So I'm just going to be a little more patient than that. This next Plague Engineer is going to name Fairy. Because Fairy gets both Brazen Borrower and Sprite Dragon. I guess I'll attack with Plague Engineer first. No, they can both attack. I just determined that I can cover it. So in for the damages. And another one of these on Fairy. Boom. I don't want to crack this fetch land because it puts me to bolt range, and getting bolted out is how I lose this game now. So finding an Uro that can just put me to 7 would be a huge game. A Brainstorm is obviously really good. Brainstorm's always really good. There are bolts in their deck. All of their bolts are still in their deck because I enduranced them. Though they have not shuffled since they were enduranced. So there's a Chain Lightning and I think 2 Lightning Bolts on the bottom of their deck. Expressive Iteration, yeah, that's a good one. I don't need revealed cards, I need exiled cards. Alright, so they hit their land drop out of the Iteration. That's the Dream. Just line it up real pretty. I'm looking for Uro. So I'll take an Abrupt Decay. I'm just going to attack. In comes my 7. They're on a 2-turn clock. I have Coatl and Abrupt Decay that can absorb damage. Plus the 2 Plague Engineers. They really need Bolt Bolt to kill me. And I mean, their deck plays a lot of them, but didn't have it. Blocked one of the trophies. Trophy leader's going to have to requeue. On to the next round. I'm on the play for the 4th round. This hand's pretty solid. I'm going to keep it. It has 2 Allurans, which isn't great, but if this is any sort of fair matchup, our mana's going to be under us. We got a Baleful Strix. The second Aluren isn't exactly what I want, but I mean, we'll make it work. If this is a combo deck, we're going to get dumpstered, but here we are. Esper Sentinel. Okay, so we're playing against some sort of artifact deck, artifact creature deck. It could be humans, and this could just be Sentinel. It could actually be the challenge-winning affinity deck. I think I need Underground Sea here. Then I get to cast Baleful Strix. Doesn't trigger Sentinel. Oh, Reef. That's going to be a good one. And I can attack fearlessly into the Sentinel because it's a 1/1. Opponent says, hi, Mom. If iStock's mom is watching this video, they said hi. Okay, so it looks like this is the Affinity deck. I haven't played with or against this deck yet, and I'm pretty stoked about it because it's awesome. So I could potentially win this turn. If I draw Cavern Harpy, I'm going to go for it. Didn't draw Cavern Harpy, so I guess I'm just going to Risen Reef. I don't need to play around Daze. They don't have any islands, but I guess it wouldn't hurt to put a land into play. Okay, the way that could hurt is if I draw a 1-drop that I would like to cast with a different land. Okay, yes, let's put that on the battlefield. I only slow roll them when it's the combo turn, and we're gonna find Uro eventually. At this point, we definitely want to hit those bonus land drops if they're available. Feathersworn Canonist right in the main deck, you monster. Okay, so I'm going to need to find an Abrupt Decay. Oh, Thought Monitor, here it comes. Their deck is so cool. It's nice that Baleful Strix is buying me so much time here. Ooh, the Ozolith. Shit just got weird. Big fan of the Ozolith. Pretty jealous of it. A Brainstorm would be great. Alright, so I can put this 2/2 Whale Wolf Borat Cat into play, or I could just not do that instead. I can put Aluren into play and pay the Troll Toll, because Feathersworn Canonist is going to mess me up long term, but I'm a little worried about what that's going to let them do, because their deck is also full of 3-mana creatures. But I think it makes sense to put it into play, and I am going to pay the extra so they don't draw a card. Alright, yes, I'll pay 1. They could pile onto Ravager, I guess, and make me pay more, but that seems like a bad use of their permanence. I might have had an attack there. The Risen Reef with Exalted. Oh yeah, it's just flashing Emery in the end step. Told ya. It's a concern. A real one. And there's Walking Ballista. That's going to be hard to beat. Alright. Might have blown it here. But I'm not winning without Abrupt Decay, and I can't Abrupt Decay and play a creature in the same turn. Like, the way I could conceivably win this game is like, yeah, it's not good. And now they can pile counters onto Ballista with Ravager, and then just shoot me down. Ouch. So if I flash in the Cat Whalewolf in combat, and trading with an Aethersworn Canonist is appealing, but it's not really a trade. They just sack their Ravager. And then I can't combo off, but I'm not comboing off anyway. I'm going to have to beat them fair. Okay, so they are doing Ravager stuff in response to this Cat Wolf. I guess I'll target myself with this in case they're playing that card. I don't want them to be able to tutor it. Oh, that's cool. You can get a free shuffle with Brainstorm. Alright, that is worth noting. I'm going to make the obvious block. They're going to sack Ravager, pile the things on. The counters also go onto Ozolith. So they get to go just nuts here. But I'm going to make the forced play. Ravager plus Ozolith is a mood, by the way. Okay. They piled them onto Ballista to shoot this thing instead of just putting them onto Canonist to have a bigger creature. That's interesting. I wonder if there's a reason to do that or if they just didn't think of it. And it's slightly better against Abrupt Decay because that's a card I'm going to fire off immediately on Aethersworn Canonist anyway. Drew Risen Reef. That's a play. Yeah, I'll cast it. With Aluren. Put this land into play. Play this land. And I'm dead. I'm not beating this Ballista, especially with the Ozolith piling on. Okay. Main deck Aethersworn Canonist. Serious business. So, Plague Engineer is a Death Touch creature that also can kill small things, which their deck has many of. Force of Vigor is real good, obviously. Just double Vindicate. Leovold, I like. Leovold stops the extra draws on Thought Monitor. It also means that if they want to Ballista me, it's going to hurt. So, what is not as good here? Like, I could just pivot off the Aluren like I did last round, but I think that's bad. And the reason I think that's bad is because their deck is made to beat fair decks. Like, it's pretty unfair what they're doing. As far as fair decks go, it's like pretty messed up. So I feel like I'm going to have to combo them. Endurance does block like a monster and mess up Emery's. So maybe I do want Endurance as well. Am I just playing the fair deck? Is that possible? Is that ever the right idea? So they are... I don't think they're a Chalice deck. I wish I had studied this list better, and I'm not going to waste time pulling it up now. But I could go like a little skinnier on Aluren. Little skinnier on Force of Will. Try to play to the board a little more. So that's 4 cards out, 7 cards in right now. That's not the correct number. Uro is going to be good. I think Birds of Paradise maybe can take a break. Got to cut 2 more cards here. Maybe another Force. And I'm worried I'm pivoting a little too hard. Like, if I just leave in all my Forces, all my Alurens, try to just get the game over with on the play. That's certainly a plan. I don't know, though. Do I drop a Harpy if I've dropped an Aluren, or is that too important together? Yeah, I mean, beating them fair doesn't seem likely. Alright, oh no, I'm running out of time to make this decision. I don't think I've made the right decision here, but at this point, I'm gonna try it. Definitely not convinced on this one, though. Well, I have Aluren and Force of Vigor, but this, if it was a tropical island or a basic island, I'd keep it, but I gotta ship this. Here we go. I'm gonna keep this hand and send the... I think I send the Force of Will. Yeah. Alright, Force of Will's out. Can't afford to 2-for-1 here. Let's get this Hierarch in, and I think I have to cast it off of Bayou to get my colors under me. Yeah. If they want to Wasteland me turn 1 after I had a Mana Dork, that's a pretty aggressive Wasteland that I'm not really worried about. Serpent for 1, you got it. Alright, Mox Opal, not on yet. Underground Sea. I could just lean into the Wasteland exposure, or I could play the basic. Is Endurance actually going to ambush or kill anything here? I think Urrowing is going to be a better use of my resources here. Let's just get ahead, hit this extra land drop, find the extra card. If Urrow finds Ponder, we get to party. Alright, nice. Not bad. Pretty good start. They can start making constructs this turn, probably. With any land drop or any artifact will do it. That's a solid one. So they can attack for 1, and then they can make a construct and still have 1 mana, or they can just pass and make constructs at instant speed. Risen Reef. I do like you. Yeah, I think this is a Risen Reef turn. I'm gonna leave up... I think I'm gonna leave up Underground Sea, because that one casts Ponder if I find it, and if this flips a green source, I get to Abrupt Decay. Okay, Force of Will's in my hand. Sure, I'll take it. And this Cavern Harpy's not doing a whole lot of work. It can start picking up Reef next turn, though, I guess. I got some answers lined up to this thing. I can Abrupt Decay to change the size of constructs or remove 1 outright. So they're going to be 5/5s when this Chapter 3 resolves. Mox Opal's on. This is scary stuff. I'm basically almost going to have to force anything here. Because, like, what spell can I beat out of them at this point? Harsh. Ugh. So I think I need Force of Vigor. Like, is there a plan to beat this deck that doesn't involve Force of Vigor? I'm actually going to let them have that. Endurance answers that. The 7/7 on the ground is the far bigger concern right now. Stonecoil for 1. Yeah, that's just here to make the construct bigger. Yeah, I'm on a really short clock right now. And the Ozolith can move those Stonecoil tokens around when it needs to. I really want to draw a green land right now. That's not the green land I was looking for, but it's not bad either. So I can go green-blue, try to hit my land drop here. I can Abrupt Decay even without the land drop. Ouch. Yeah, I think maybe I'm playing this game with 5 mana, but I don't think it's going to happen with the current situation. I'm going to decay one of the constructs for sure. And this card's not beatable for me. So I'm going to bang this one out, which puts me to 11. Nettle Cyst, that's pretty big. It's +1/+1 for each artifact and enchantment you control. They don't currently have the mana to move that, which is really lucky, because if they put it on one of these trample things, I'm dead. Probably dead anyway. So Icefang Coatl doesn't have Death Touch and isn't going to get it soon. So I'm just going to block here with Coatl, decay the other one. Green-black. I take 2. I think Aluren is just my best draw. That's where we are. 2 outer Aluren, let's go. Shit. Okay. What does that do? Nothing. I don't have enough mana to pick up the Reef and replay it. Well, I can do it, but then it doesn't go anywhere. But GG's. Alright, crushed by that deck. Wow. That was an impressive display. Urza Saga's Busto. On to round number 5. I'm on the play with this rock-solid monster of a hand. I'm going to keep it. Also, hindsight is 20/20, but I think I should have just been trying to combo jam that opponent. I think I underestimated how powerful the deck is just on stats as a fair deck. Also, what the fuck? Alright. Whenever you cast at least you or at least one permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls. Wow. Whenever you or at least one permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, Leyline of Combustion deals 2 damage to that player. Okay, so my Cat Wolf will, when it goes off, will deal 2 to them and 2 to me. That's kind of scary. I want this Prismatic Vista. I don't want the Noble Hierarch. So I'll keep the lands. Yeah, I don't know what they're up to over there. It's feeling kind of like red prison-y. I don't know, we'll see. Basic mountain. Oh, are you you're just a prowess deck? That's fine. I have the mono death touch cantrip blockers hand into Uro. So I'm pretty well suited to play this game for at least a little while. I guess I'm gonna end up with the Noble Hierarch. It's fine. Not super excited about it, but it's fine. I can Uro into Noble Hierarch next turn. That does do what I want it to. And if they spend burn spells on Baleful Strix, that's a deal. And if they don't, I get to kill their ship. They're down to 2 cards in hand because this ley line exists. Okay, I'm at 15. Alright, so I'm gonna Uro into Noble Hierarch here. Probably wanted to get a forest with this Prismatic Vista anyway because double green casts Aluren. The backup Uro. That's good news. I get a forest here. Forest casts Noble Hierarch. Noble Hierarch casts Uro if I draw. Oh, that's not true. I'm 2 cards away. Not even close to casting Uro. I take it back. But Ice Fang Coatl on blocking duty next turn is nice. I've absorbed 6 damage off these lightning bolts by targeting my creatures, so I'll take that too. 2 cards left in hand over there. So I can Uro again. If I find a blue source, I get to also Coatl. Though I think that using Coatl makes some sense here. Though, I mean, Uro just gives you so much breathing room on the life. So I'm going to Uro. If I find the blue source, I'm going to Coatl. If I don't, I'll just bird. Nice. Free money. So I could have Coatled main phase to try to hit a land drop. But I think that ambushing in combat is a little more interesting. Gives them the opportunity to tap out free combat for some shit like that. I mean, that shit is really good against Aluren, let me tell you. My deck is very much based on casting spells with converted mana value 3 or less. Alright, they're just going in. This puts the card in the graveyard for Uro. Yeah, I think Uro's just going to take over this game. They have 2 cards left in hand over there. Unless they have some significant technology. Blue, blue, green, green. There's Uro. I take 2, then gain 3. That is gain 1, where I come from. Found a land, that's cool. I think I can afford to take 2 to put this Birds of Paradise into play. I like Bird better than Hierarch because I currently have 2 black spells in my hand and 1 black source. So that's why I went with that. Hopefully that 2 life won't come back to bite me. But they really do need some serious, serious business to beat this Uro. Leyline of Combustion has not triggered once. I hope to keep it that way. I guess that's not true. If I'm comboing off, they can get a trigger. Chain Lightning. Alright, they're going upstairs. Under their own Pyrostatic Pillar. They have 1 card left in hand. Even Fire Blast doesn't kill me here. I'm going to get to attack with Uro, gain another 3. Pull ahead a little more. Here comes the Uro Blast. Go to 13. No lands to put in, that's fine. I think I want to go to 11 to cast Baleful Strix. And just having a blocker that powerful in play, just absorb that Swift Spear damage if it ever does decide to turn sideways. Right, hit a land drop as well. Alright, I'm just going to pass here. I'm not going to just aggressively cantrip into the pillar, but you can see how this hand would go off. We're just behind the gate here. Sulfuric Vortex, that's the kind of thing that could do it. Alright, so Uro's not going to gain life anymore, but we are now in an actual race, damage race, that I don't think they're winning. But they have burn spells in their deck and I don't. So that's a different story. Okay, Force of Will is actually great. I can hard cast that one. And take out burn spells they might cast. This doesn't trigger Pillar. You or at least one permanent you control. Alright, spells you control are not on that list. So they're actually just dead next turn. Maybe I didn't need to play that Tropical Island. That exposes me to Price of Progress a little more than I would have been otherwise. But they're going to go to 7. They're going to take 7 in combat. They can't gain life. They have 2 cards in hand. They need to deal 7 damage to me right now through a Force of Will. You better believe I'll counter the shit out of a Fire Blast. Here's Goblin Guide. I hope this doesn't reveal Aluren. Alright, it didn't even attack. Oh, maybe I'm supposed to counter it? Interesting. Yeah, I probably was. Good call. Alright, I'm not going to put in this Misty Rainforest. Ooh. Doesn't matter. No, not doing it. Yeah, Goblin Guide as a blocker to tread water, trying to find the burn spell to not to swing this race is a big deal. I'm gonna discard Noble Hierarch to hand size. I guess I could have cast Aluren. That avoids all the other things, but I don't really need to show them that, so I won't. That also taps me out of hardcasting Force, which is part of my plan. Alright, they're dead. This wall of hatred can't beat one Elder Giant boy. So, Force of Vigor. I mean, the hell? Look at all those artifacts, or all those enchantments they had. I probably want Flusterstorm, because I don't want a 2-for-1 myself on every interaction we have. Urro's a big deal. And Leovold is pretty nice against the burn deck. You do draw a lot of cards. What do I want to do? Can I count on Aluren as a way to win the game when I know that they have Pyrostatic Pillar on top of the Eidolon of the Great Revel that they also definitely have? Maybe. I think that I do want the combo as a large out, so I'm not going to shave on the combo at all. I think Risen Reef is a little clunky, and Noble Hierarch I can't really count on. Like, if I'm just playing this solid game plan, I think just all of my Death Touch blockers have to stay in. Cavern Harpy, it feels awkward to cut this card when I'm leaving in all my Alurens. Like, am I trying to combo or not? Make a call. But maybe Leovold is just worse than Cavern Harpy, if the plan is combo time. And I think the plan is combo time, so sorry Leovold, get out. I'm sick of you. This is my plan. Got a nice little 0 lander here. I'll ship that one. Okay, a non-sarcastically nice little kind of stable hand here. I'm going to ship the Prismatic Vista. These fetch lands also get basic swamp, basic forest, just like the Vista, but I don't need to, like, it leaves options open for getting the dual land if I want that instead. Which, Price of Progress is the card that I would have to worry about. So, we'll see how this game ends up looking. Well, there's the Aluren. I can Force of Will something, like, if they have, like, a pillar or an Eidolon here, I'm gonna have to force it. Okay, I think forcing Pitch Coatl is better than Pitch Brainstorm. Brainstorm's just going to do so much more, especially with the fetch lands all set up here. But Eidolon is just tailor-made to defeat what I'm trying to do here. Though you can power through it with a with an Uro. Like Uro plus Harpy, it becomes life neutral. You gain 3, pay 3 to iterate your combo. My deck does contain Mana Dorks and Ponder, so I'm going to Brainstorm now. Put back the Vista again, and this basic forest. No, basic island. Yeah, okay. So, I kept the forest because I'm going to need double green for Aluren eventually. And I'm probably going to fetch a dual land off of this. Ouch. Alright, there's the pillar. Aluren's just getting worse and worse. But the good news is it's a 4 mana spell I can play under Pyrostatic Pillar. So I want to get this shuffle. Do I want to play on basics or not? I have I am going to get a basic forest with this, and the Verdant Catacombs can get Underground Sea if I need to fix my color options. I am not going to play this Noble Hierarch. I don't think it's worth 2 life right now. Sulfuric Vortex. So now I have to decide if I want to destroy... this also makes it really hard to combo with Aluren. So do I want to try to destroy Pillar and go off? I think that has to be a better plan to win the game than destroying Swift Spear and trying to race a Sulfuric Vortex. So I'm going to decay the Pillar. And I don't know what I'm hoping to draw right now. Risen Reef, but I boarded some of them out. Yeah, a lot of trouble. So do I even show them the Aluren? I don't think so. I think I just passed the turn. I don't know if I've shown them anything that is obviously an Aluren card. Surgical Extraction, Targeting Force Well. I'm going to concede to that. I don't want them to know what's in my deck. And they're going to win this game. Also, if they're checking my forces, that means they can burn me out and they just want to know the coast is clear. Okay, so on the play again, or on the play for the first time, Force of Vigor is very important. Harpy, Decay are all important. If I'm on the full combo, so Flusterstorm might not be very good against them actually, because they have so much permanent based damage and hate that maybe they're just not even doing. I mean, we saw Lightning Bolts game 1, but that deck space has to come at the expense of some amount of spells. And maybe, oh no, Strix is better than Reef. So this is what I'm gonna do. My Force of Vigor's in, and Hierarch, Risen Reef out. That's what I've got going on right now. Do I want all the Hierarchs on the play? I don't think so, because it is a pretty bad top deck. This is my plan. Alright, we got kind of a banger here. I'm gonna keep. It's got the Aluren, it's got the Reef. I can force if I need to. This game is for the 4-1. The pride, the victory. I'm gonna lead on my fetch land, because that casts Baleful Strix next turn. Off of a basic if I want it. I can also just get the Trop. And I'm going to... oh wow. They're just bolting my dome. Chain Lightning, go. That's powerful stuff. Alright, I'm not going to fetch yet. I don't know what mana I need yet. There's still decisions to be made. Ooh, Noble Hierarch. That's the one that lets me Aluren next turn. Yeah, I'm actually just playing Hierarch. Fuck a Baleful Strix. So I can force an Eidolon, or I can try to just ram through it. I think I want to force pitching Strix. Oh, they could flash in Eidolon with Aluren though. Yeah, this card is a problem for me. So I'm gonna pitch my Strix to keep it out of play. And I'm gonna fetch Tropical Island right now. I do not want to draw lands. If I can just run spells from here, I'm gonna be alright. So fetch my Tropical Island. Come on, Harpy! Harpy! Harpy off the Tarpy. Right, that's not what I wanted. Alright, here we go. All the money. Aluren's on the stack. Can they flash in an Eidolon in response? That would be such a beating. Show me Harpy. Show me Uro. Guess Uro is my best draw. Always is, always will be. Risen Reef trigger. Underground Season play. I'm passing the turn. Don't love this. Oh, they didn't have any creatures. That probably means they have some Sulfur Vortex nonsense. It has to be an enchantment, right? Yeah. Alright, Pyrostatic Pillars in play. That does hurt, but I can just attack with a Risen Reef at this point. Uro still just goes off. Uro! Uro! Well, I'm not going to complain about a Brainstorm in a spot like this. It does deal damage to me, but let's go. Alright, found the Uro. Came with a pile of creatures that I'm not as excited about. But I can put them back and then attack with my Risen Reef. Alright, in for 2. They didn't have a creature last turn. I hope they don't flash one in and block now. And I can flash in Uro. I am 2 cards short of bringing back the Uro, and also a blue or green source short. Eidolon, in response, I'll flash in Uro. Hope they don't have Red Blast. Alright, they did not have Red Blast. So the Uro gains 3. I'm not going to put a land in. I think I do want this Hierarch in play, because I'm going to have to win the damage race somehow. And now they've played Eidolon, it gets a lot more interesting. If I can just attack for 3, hardcast Force of Will, I think I can actually win this race. Even Noble Hierarch attacks past Eidolon at this point. And if they put too many cards in my graveyard, I get to bring back Uro, which is not going to be good for them. Alright, so we're crunching in here. So if nobody casts another spell, I go to 10, they go to 10. I go to 8, they go to 7. I go to 6, they go to 4. I go to 2, 4, they go to 1. Alright. Oh, yeah. That's what I needed. I needed them to put something on the stack that swings the race in my favor, and that was a big swing. I hardcast Force, now they're 4 damage behind me. I was winning the race already by 1 turn, and now I don't think they can win. I say that, but then they're going to find a way to win. I guess if they, like, Fire Blast my Risen Reef in combat, that would take me out of combat for a turn. They could also chump with Eidolon to free up some of their life points. But they're as locked under these right now as I am. And my deck has Uro in it. Just looming in the graveyard. 1 card away. I think if I crack a fetch land, it's going to be worth the 4 life or 5 life to get Uro into play. I could also just block if they attack with Eidolon, and that puts the 6th card in the graveyard. Oh yeah. Yep. Pay me. We have seen Surgical Extraction out of them, but if they want to pay 6 life to do that right now, go nuts, homie. Okay, so this card, blue, blue, green, green. Here comes Uro. I take 4 on the front, go to 8. They don't have 4 mountains to Fire Blast me twice with, and now I have a 6/6 in play. I gain 3 of this 4 life back, then I attack for 2, and then they have to beat this creature. And at any point, I can just rip something insane to go off with Aluren. Or, like, they at least have to respect that things could come into play that they don't like. I guess I have to respect that too. But if they spend 4 life to put Monasteries Whisper into play at this point, deal. And Uro's in. I'm at 11. You're going to 7. Dead to an Uro swing. Dead to a lot of stuff here. How do I die? How do I lose this game? Price of Progress deals 4. Fire Blast deals 4. Land Fire Blast only puts me to 3. So land, Lightning Bolt, Fire Blast kills me. And they do have 5 cards, but it does have to be Mountain and double Fire Blast specifically. I'm factoring in cards that aren't going to kill them if they cast them. Alright, Pyrokinesis dealing 4 to an Uro. Okay. Pitching Pyrostatic Pillar. That's fine. You got another one? I'm still winning the race. Ooh, I'm not winning the race anymore. I like that. I mean, I don't like that I'm losing, but I did like that play. Time to just draw another Uro and easily win the game. That's my plan. Alright, I take 2. That was powerful. That was the line that I didn't see. I don't know if I'm going to get to this Uro in time. I think I just lost. Like, we were both locked out of the game, but then they had 2 6-drops to cast, and I just don't. What do I need to do here? Like, I could flash in Birds of Paradise to block. That puts... But then I lose when I put the arrow on the stack, I don't know that I can win. Yeah, I was talking shit a minute ago, but they had double pyrokinesis. That'll do. Alright, so this means that I can't cast any more spells because I'm at 4. Is there a 4-drop in my deck other than Aluren? Oh, they had Fire Blast. Wow. Okay, I was talking shit 2 turns ago, but they had 3 6-mana spells in their hand to navigate their own prison with. Oh, good job. I am impressed. So, Force of Vigor was my out in that situation, by the way. Drawing Force of Vigor kills both of the things that's pressuring me and the other thing. Also, the Pyrokinesis lining up, killing Uro and all my other creatures. That worked out really well for them. But anyway, we could see how that matchup's winnable. Their build in particular with like main deck 8x Eidolon effect and Sulfur Vortex, pretty hateful. But that's cool. We're still an Uro deck, so we can see how that one would be winnable. But I think we saw the path in most of these games tonight. I mean, started off 3-0, lost the last 2. That artifact deck was insane. I underestimated its aggression or its resilience, and I should have just been trying to combo them. That's definitely the play there. Just leave in every answer to either Sworn Canonist and try to jam Aluren early and often. And then the burn matchup, that's just a race for the most part. My draw steps, I got a bunch of extra draw steps that just weren't good enough. So you're going to lose those games. 21 lands feels like a lot with 4 mana dorks. I understand that getting your mana under you is really important when you're trying to resolve a 4 mana sorcery in a format with days. So I get it. But I think this might be a little heavy-handed. We might be able to sneak another Baleful Strix in here or the 4th Uro. It's something else. Something else. Maybe a Preordain. I don't know. Your mileage may vary. The sideboard looked good. There were a lot of Veil of Summers in here. We only played against the one Veil of Summer matchup, and I guess it was really good. So, playing against other black decks, discard decks, yeah, alright. These numbers look good. I do like the sideboard, and I like the main deck too. Other than, you could probably play 1 less land than you do. But this is a solid machine. We saw how the combo works. We saw how the combo fails. We even saw how you can board out the combo and just be a fair deck. I think Endurance provides enough actual bodies that you can do that reasonably. Like this same sideboard without these 2 Endurance, I don't think gets to pivot into just the fair bug deck, but Endurance really does work that way. So I'm into it. Snarf, thank you for sharing this deck. I'm always happy to play Aluren. This took me way back. A lot of fun lines, things that I think was riding a bike. It was just like, okay, yeah, that's how this works. Other things were like, oh, nope, that's how Aluren works. But learn it. I hope this was helpful to everyone else. I hope you all enjoyed Aluren as much as I do. I love this card, love this deck. Thank you, Snarf, for submitting it. Everyone else, thank you for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you know when I post videos. It's every single day, and I'll see you for the next one.